Breaking news, my country people. There is fire on the mountain in Rivers State as some pro-Wike protesters are going around causing havoc in the state. In fact, the tensions have heightened as protesters protest against the conduct of the local government elections in Rivers. The crisis rocking Rivers State over the conduct of the local government elections has taken a new turn. Now, these protesters are believed to be loyal to the former governor and the serving minister Nyesom Wike, and they have taken to the streets to protest against the conduct of these elections. It was reported that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission (RSIEC) had noted that it would go ahead with the local government election in the state as scheduled. And RSIEC said this late Friday that they will hold the election no matter what, that there is no going back. And protesters on Saturday, amid the elections, first gathered at a polo club in Yenagoa before embarking on this protest. They marched along the popular Aba Road in Port Harcourt, carrying banners and placards with inscriptions that called on Governor Fubara to obey the Federal High Court judgment that cancelled the election. It also garnered that hundreds of the All Progressive Congress members were gathered at the party secretariat in Port Harcourt to embark on a similar protest. The Rivers State Governor insisted that the elections will hold, accusing the police, which has failed to provide security for the election, of bias. And the local government election has commenced in some parts of the state. Currently, the election has commenced, although there were complaints of voter apathy, and in some cases and in some polling units, late arrival of voting materials. But in the case of voter apathy, especially in Ward 9 in Obiakpo local government area, report states that there is no voting going on in that Wike's local government area because they got an order from Nyesom Wike not to participate in the local government election. But in some other areas, in some other wards and polling units, voting have commenced, accreditations are going on, people are going on, people are casting their votes already. And amid all these things, some Wike loyalists have stormed the streets to protest against this council election. And in some other places, officials were seen on ground, voters were seen queuing, and some persons were also on standby with canes to ensure the election runs peacefully. Yes, some polling units are already accrediting voters, and the elections are being conducted. But guys, amid all these things, these pro-Wike supporters have stormed the streets and they are protesting against this election. Now, wow, my country people, some people too do. Joblessness is a very terrible thing. I can tell you. You see, joblessness, it has become, in fact, the youths that are protesting, what do they seek to gain? What do they really seek to gain? Coming out to protest in a bid to cause tension in the state. What is your gain? Had it been some youths were actually, employed, they wouldn't have been engaged in this kind of activity. And we know that this protest is a sponsored protest, sponsored by a political godfather that doesn't want this local government election to go on. Now, these youths in Rivers have allowed themselves to be used by political elites to cause tensions in the state. Sometimes, some people can be so shameless and jobless at the same time, coming out to protest against local government election what do you really seek to gain? This local government election is to their own good. At the end of the day, who will benefit? They will be the one to benefit. A prominent Nigerian politician had urged that after the declaration of results in this local government election, that all winners should be sworn in immediately after the results are announced. According to him, this would prevent any legal battles that might attempt to stop the newly elected officials from taking office. Guys, this particular statement was made by a prominent Nigerian politician that noted that majority of the people in Rivers State support Governor Fubara, and they are so eager for these elections to move forward smoothly. So in his own suggestion, he suggested that after the election, that the elected chairman and councillors should be sworn in immediately without delay, where he warned that if there is any delay in the swearing in of the winners, that there could be a court case against them as soon as Monday. We know how these things used to work now. Now, barely hours after the commencement of the local government election, protests have erupted in Rivers State. Some youths who are loyal to Nyesom Wike are parading the streets, in fact, trying to stop the local government election. They are protesting in a bid to stop the local government election. My country people, make una come chook mouth for this matter. Because with what's happening in Rivers State, anything can happen. Now the election will go rowdy, because what's with the protests, now that the youths are agitated, protesting in the streets, some persons might, have this fear to come out and cast their votes, because protests are already, happening in the state as some youth reject the Rivers Council election. This would bring about voter apathy, where some persons will now develop fear of coming out to cast their vote. Those that are, those that have not started voting, even in some places where election materials arrive late, some persons might have this fear because of this protests going on in the state. Guys, there seems to be crisis, there seems to be tension in the state. I really hope that the security agencies in Rivers State would be able to quell any unrest that erupts as a result of this protest, so it won't affect the election, so it won't affect voter turnout, and so that the election will be peaceful and fair. I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.